have a 9 to 5 job where I work as a procurement manager, and I also have a side business where I am into fashion. And yeah, like I said, keeping it brief. So I'll lead by example. Ruki, can we have you then?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ricky. I work as a technology change auditor. I currently work in Skipton Building Society in the UK, and I've worked in similar roles over the past 7 years. 7 years. All right. Nice to meet you. Thanks, everyone, for
Nice to meet you
joining.
too. I'd like to have Adesua as well. Would you please introduce yourself? Thank
Yes,
you.
hello everybody. Good evening. My name is Adeswa. I'm based in Germany, Cologne, Germany. I was born in Munich, but I'm Nigerian. Grew up in Nigeria. Of course, you can see my name. And yeah, I'm a mom of 3 boys. I'm also an IT consultant and digital marketing manager. And yeah, I'm a day trader as well. And I do a few other things. So it's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you too so much for honoring the invitation. Yeah, I think from the introduction, it looks pretty much obvious that we are working with people who are, I mean, we have people here who are working in the male-dominated industry now. So it will bring me to my first question, but I'd like to first introduce the theme as of the topic that we'll be discussing on today. We're talking about work and career, and especially looking at it in the light of what women go through, how work really feels like in male-dominated industries for women. And I mean, yeah, workspace is actually been evolving, but there still feels like there's the, so to say, gender inequality. And this gap is a very, very critical topic that should be somewhat more discussed. And that's why we are talking about it today. Last week, we talked about politics. And this week, we'll be talking about work and career. Anyone who was not here last week, you could just go to the YouTube channel to check what we discussed. So the first question would be that I'd like to just pitch to the both of you. You could take maybe 2 minutes each to talk about it. Women in male-dominated industries. What are the challenges, or let's say, what's the biggest challenge for women who work in these male-dominated industries? How can this be addressed? And how does workplace culture in male-dominated industries affect career growth for women? I would take Adesua first before I go to Ruki then.
Okay. Thank you very much. So when it comes to women in male-dominated industries, I'll just because most times I like to use, real life examples. So I have a friend, a very close friend, and she's an engineer. So she's been working in this field for many years now, and she shares her experience with me, so it's quite lonely, I must say, for most of them, because if you're the only woman for so many years, every now and then you feel like you are the only person. And then it takes guts, first and foremost, because each time she tells me she has to work twice as hard. Do you get prove herself, to show that she's capable, she's able. And I think it's just a mindset thing. It's something that people have grown up to see, to say that, okay, women should be doing this, or men should be doing this. Women shouldn't be in this kind of field. And then so the woman will have to prove herself, so even if she's capable, sometimes it's a struggle, so yeah, that's the way I see it. Yeah.
The woman has to prove herself.
Exactly.
Good. Thank you.
You're
Thank you for that. I had to note that down. Ruki, I'd like to have you now.
Just taking up from where Adesua dropped off, I think one of the major challenges with women working in a male-dominated industry is the unconscious bias. So there are some theories that actually posits, for instance, the operational theory that posits that as a woman, there's this belief that there are some certain occupations that are for women, and there are some certain occupations that should be for men. Take, for instance, in Nigeria, where we are all from, a mechanic. If you see a woman in doing mechanic, you'll be like, oh my God, what's she doing? Does she really know how to do the work? It doesn't really matter if, even though statistics have shown that women are more academically sound and more able to make progress in leadership roles. It doesn't matter. But because she's a woman, that there's that unconscious bias of, do I want to give her my car? Do I want to trust her with whatever it is? So there's that challenge of unconscious bias that just creeps in with women being in male-dominated industries. Aside that, so I think just like Adesua mentioned, the societal norm, women are supposed to nurture, women are supposed to cater for their homes, women are supposed to take jobs that are more like, not that how would I say, that don't need them to be to dominate.
100% there.
Like, yes, to be domineering, sort of. Men, there's this belief that men should be vocal, they should be able to give they should be able to put their foot on the ground and say this, but women are more like, oh, let's nurture the home. So because of that belief, there's that, again, unconscious bias of why is she in this field? Can she perform? And then because of that, there's that pressure of, I need to prove myself. And it doesn't really matter if you're actually proving yourself. You might not be recognized the way your male counterparts might be. I'll give you an instance of when I was working in Nigeria and I was due for a promotion, and then I went on maternity leave then. And I was told, oh no, I can't get that promotion because what if I am going to have to keep going on maternity leave? So they'll have to give like a male counterpart, if that makes sense. So those are the kind of challenges. You have to keep proving yourself to say, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. It doesn't matter if I have my family in check. You just have to keep proving yourself, and it can actually get tiring. So yeah, that's like one of the most common challenge I would say from my perspective is unconscious bias that people have towards women in these roles.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Talking about maternity leave and maybe leaves in general, and the place of a woman in the society being the caregiver in most cases, brings me to the question about paternity leave.
Yeah.
It's a general belief that it's the women that should some way somehow go on the maternity leave, and then the men are somehow excluded. Can we then say that it's because of this drive that men have to want to dominate or be able to put their feet on the ground that makes them avoid taking paternity leaves, or it's the workplace that just does not allow them to take paternity leaves? Ruki, would you
Okay.
continue?
So yeah, in terms of paternity leave, I don't think men don't want it. Again, I think this boils down to societal norm that men are supposed to shoulder the burden, financial burden. So firstly, if we look at it, how many countries, maybe aside developed countries now, developing countries, let's go back to our home country, Nigeria. How many industries in Nigeria actually give paternity leave? Where I used to work, I know they used to give paternity leave 5 days. But then even as you are supposed to be on paternity leave, somebody's calling you and you cannot say, oh no, I'm on paternity leave, because that's going to affect your bonus. And you being the sole provider of the home is going to have like some financial constraints. And then again, there are figures to back it up. For instance, in the UK, paternity leave, if you go on paternity leave, you're going to be paid £184-ish per week. And that's like a major cut. So it's £184 or 90% of your salary, whichever is lower. So imagine someone that is making 5K a month. Weekly, they're earning over 1,000, right? And then you're saying because they are going on paternity leave, you're going to cut their salary and pay them 184. Remember, the person has mortgage to pay, they have bills to pay, they have taxes to pay. Probably the person have some educational whatever. They have to take care of their household, talk about feeding. So because of that financial burden that it places on these men, I think that's the main reason why they are not going. Again, societal expectation that men should be, I don't want to go on paternity leave if it's going to cut my salary and I'm not going to be able to take care of my family. So I think that boils down to why men don't go on paternity leave.
Okay, thank you so much for your insightful contributions to that. Adesua, would you like to also make any contributions? But before then, I'd like to just point out that I had one more question to that. Do you think that the lack of paternity leave then reinforces this traditional gender role at home and in workplace? Do you think that it also, reinforces this gap in between what men should do, what women should then do?
Will that be my question for Adesua?
And for Adesua, sorry.
Okay, yes.
Sorry, yeah.
And in addition to what Ruki said, actually, she said it's, actually it's expectations, societal expectations. It's also a cultural thing, I think, in some cases, because we know in Nigeria, for example, where we come from, it's looked at in a certain way that it's expected of women to be the ones to take this maternity leave and take care of the children, if at all she's working. And I think some other factors to put into consideration is that we have family back home to help you. If a woman has a baby, you have the mother-in-law or her mom, or aunties or nannies or whatever, unlike over here. So I think that's why maybe you have it more back home that men will not need to take paternity leave, even though that's not the only reason why they should take paternity leave. Sometimes it has to do with bonding. A man is allowed to bond with his newborn baby. He's allowed to also help his wife, even though there are strangers there to help. But at least, there's a difference when the man is in the home. But again, it's a cultural thing. It's something that, has been passed on from generation to generation. A man is seen as someone that should be working, and, a woman should be the one taking care. And then, just like you said, I think the jobs actually reinforce this so that gap is there. To answer your second question, if workplaces make it easier for men to take paternity leave, or if it's something that becomes common, like a boss can actually take paternity leave, then others will say, oh, if my boss can take paternity leave, then, this is someone they look up to. So then gradually that culture will change, everything's about programming. So I think if at the workplace it is encouraged, not that people, have these pay cuts, or a man is seen as less of a man if he takes paternity leave and things like that. I think more men will consider it. Many really want to, but you just can't because of these various factors. That's the way I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm really rushing because of time now.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to the third question, which is about gender pay gap. Do you think it's a myth or a myth or a reality? Do you think that this is true or not? In some parts of the world now, you'd see that when you're applying for a role, the remuneration is already stated. But at the point I was feeling like, oh, this would encourage everyone to feel like, yes, it's the same pay for everyone. If it's a man who applies, he gets the same pay. Or if it's a woman who applies, they get the same pay. But at the point, it came to my mind again that, okay, what if during the interview, the man says, oh, the pay I'm seeing there is too small for the job I'm actually taking. If the responsibilities if you feel like, oh, the responsibilities I'm going to be, I'm doing during this job, I feel like you should pay me more. Chances are that they would say a yes to a man and say a no to a woman. And then you even see it sometimes that when you get a little bit close to some of your colleagues, you get to hear how much they pay someone who you are probably doing the same role with, who is a man, and you get to say like, well, why is my own pay somewhat somehow? And I just started thinking about it that, okay, do you think it is real? Do you think in male-dominated industries, for example, do you think this actually happens or it doesn't? I just why you could go first, and then you could come afterwards. Thank you.
Gender pay gap, I don't think is a myth. I think it's real because there's data to prove that, there's data to prove that. They said females in a setting, I think I was reading somewhere, I can't really remember now, but 30%, women are paid 30% less than men in the same industry, for example. And in some cases, they even say because they see the man as the breadwinner. Funny enough, that's what some companies say. And then, so it's first and foremost, to answer your question, it's not a myth, it's real, but I think women are also learning to step up. If you're delivering exactly what the man is delivering, it's just fair that you should be paid exactly that. There was an example of a lady, she's a motivational speaker, I think, an American lady, and she said she went for this gig many years ago when she just started off. And afterwards, she found out her colleague, the male colleague who did exactly what she did, was paid $10,000 for the 1 hour that she spoke, and then she was paid 5,000. And so she went to question it, and they said, well, you didn't negotiate. That's why we didn't pay. Yeah, but which wasn't really true. But so she was just trying to say it's good to know your worth, ask questions, and pitch and try your best before you accept.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ruki.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Darren. Just to confirm, no, gender pay gap is not a myth. It is real. It is real as hell. And while there are so many factors that influence gender pay gap, I think just like you mentioned, men are more likely to be approved of a negotiation during an interview than women. And take, for instance, in Germany, based on research, 17% women earn 17% less than men. But then that's not to say that this gap is just within people in the same role. Like I mentioned earlier, there are so many factors that influence gender pay gap. And one of it, according to the World Economic Forum, says that 80% of gender pay gap is associated to motherhood penalty. And what is motherhood penalty? Going on maternity leave, going on career break because you need to take care of your children and stuff like that. So yeah, it exists. And probably women need to start negotiating. I was telling somebody I applied for a job and they told me, oh, well, I applied for a job. In this case, the salary was not stated. And when I asked around, okay, what would typically be the salary for this role? I was told, and when I applied, they came back to me and said, oh, I'm asking for too much. And I'm like, okay, don't worry. because I know this is what you are paying your people, but if you think I'm asking for too much, then maybe you should look for somebody else. So I think women need to know their place and not sort of just settle, because it's okay if you are not aware of this sort of things, right? If you're not aware of how much people within that remit earn, but when you are aware and you are showing sort of you're desperate, it sort of puts you back behind your male counterparts. They'll be like, okay, if you're not willing to offer me, no problem, I'm going to find somewhere else. So maybe women need to start putting their feet down, knowing their worth, knowing what they're bringing to the table, and also taking up more leadership roles, because again, that's another factor that like influences the statistics of gender pay gap. Globally, I think they said only 29% of women are in leadership position. So they start 29 to 71. So they start disparity that sort of overall influence pay gap. So in the end, women, know your role, know your worth, rather, know your value, know what you're bringing to the table. And if they're not willing to pay you what you're asking for, you will find the one that will probably pay you more.
Thank you so much. Thank you for mentioning to leadership, talking about leadership. I have a question in line with leadership expectations for men and for women. Do you think that men and women are held to different standards when it comes to leadership styles and decision making? And do you like what would you say to like the perception of women being bossy or being assertive? I mean, like when you're trying to stand on your ground as a woman, some people look at you and feel like, oh, she's bossy. Oh, she's so difficult to please. Whereas you may be thinking that you're trying to just be assertive, you want to be very diplomative, you just want the work to flow the right way. And these things are being misjudged or concepted, so to say. And I just want to have your view on what leadership expectations should be like with men. Should it be different? Do you think that they're actually different right now, or should it actually be different? Your view to that. Ruki, you could please go first so that
Okay.
you're still up.
In terms of leadership expectations of men and women, most often than not, the expectations are different. Like I said earlier, men are expected to be assertive, to be decisive, to be dominant, but women are expected to be empathetic, try to understand the other person's point of view. And aside from that, I feel like because of this whole bias towards how men are expected to lead and how women are expected to lead, even though sometimes women overdo it. I've worked with very, very terrible female bosses, and I've worked with very, very lovely female bosses as well. Sometimes women overdo it, but I think at the end of the day, if you are being assertive rather than trying to, if you're being assertive and you can sort of make it clear this is the reason why you're being assertive and you're not trying to be bossy, and everybody's on the same page, I think that would sort of make a difference, if that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, there to answer your question, it's a different expectation for men. Even if a man is being bossy, it will not be seen as a man is being bossy. To be like, oh, he's being assertive, he knows what he wants, he's being dominant. But if it's a woman, she's being rude, she's being bossy. Yeah. So
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
My sorry to cut you short. And
okay.
For me, I feel if we are trying to achieve gender equality in the workplace, it's only fair for whether it's a man or a woman, the expectations for both should be the same.
Should be the same. Yeah.
Yes, rather than holding one. Yeah.
Yeah. But in that line now, the men like to say that women like to play the games of emotions. So, so when we are saying that the standard should be the same, will women not feel like they are overburdened? I mean, what a man would take to be easy peasy, some women would find it too demanding, and they would want the standards to be lowered a little bit just because I'm a woman, something in that line.
But it will surprise you to know that women are more high up in terms of standard. Like their work are more top notch. No offense to the men on the group, but this is based on statistics. Women tend to deliver more. Women tend to take more challenges, like hard work, tight deadlines. Women do that more than men.
Great.
So no, okay. I don't think it's going to be a problem for women thinking, oh, maybe the only issue that might be is, oh, it might be that, oh, my family, but I don't think it's going to be like, oh, it's too difficult for me to deliver. No, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Okay, thank you. Adesu, I'd like to come to you now, and I'll just add to it, like, do you feel female leaders feel more, they face more scrutiny than the men as of their counterparts?
Oh, yes, I think they do. Again, it comes to what I said at the beginning. Women sometimes tend to be harsher, probably, or need to or have that need for their voices to be heard.
To be heard.
It may seem like they're being bossy, but maybe they just have to, because if they are not that way, people do not take them seriously.
Yeah.
It happens a lot, where women are tossed around, but if she tries to now speak up, then she's seen as being bossy. But if a guy talks the same way, he's seen as being strong and real and is normal. But I just think it's double standard. Also for the men, in the workplace, sometimes a man is not allowed to show emotions, which is also not right as such. If a man shows emotions too much, he's seen as weak. But yeah, so it needs to be redefined. The way I see it, leadership needs to be redefined, as in people should be allowed or seen as humans first.
Yeah.
Before they say this is a woman or this is a man. Yeah.
Great. So lastly, I would still like to, I don't know if there's any man who would like to say anything so that we are not biased.
For sure. I like to
so
hear.
so that we are not biased in all that we have said. But before then, I just want to quickly ask, how do you think we can a gender inclusive workspace can be created?
Who should speak?
Adesua.
Well, I think it should start by, again, leadership. A lot of things should be readdressed gradually. Work ethic and things like that should be addressed. So you should start from the leadership. If the leaders show, by example, address people as humans and not as a man or as a woman. I heard there was a meeting that engineers came together and it was just a woman there, and someone asked her if she was there to take notes. Meanwhile, she was the one actually in charge of the project. So such things should not be allowed. And then
yeah,
I think that's
thank you. Yeah, Ruki, would you like to go now? Yeah.
Okay, for me, I would say training on unconscious bias. Again, that would help people not to sort of stereotype women to a particular role or job, and men to a particular role or job, and then implementing policies that offer like equal, for instance, leave, maternity, paternity leave. If you are giving women 6 months, then men should also be eligible for the 6 months full pay. If it's full pay for women, men should also be eligible for full pay, because why are you giving women full pay and you're giving men a lower pay? Yeah, and then probably because the whole motherhood penalty that I spoke about, probably that needs to be scrapped. And I know Trump has decided to scrap flexible working for the most part and of the US, but then flexible working benefits people with like families, because it helps you work around your family. So people should push for flexible working rather than having your regular 9 to. If I decide to work 12 a.m. to 9 a.m. and I'm doing my work, I don't think I must work 9 to 5. At least COVID has showed us that people can work flexibly. So yeah, so those are the things I think can help with an inclusive workplace.
Yeah, thank you both so much. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to say anything? Maybe a man to contribute, hear your opinion so that we are not biased, as I already mentioned.
They'll agree with us.
Okay, so if I don't get anyone wanting to say anything from the men, I believe that like Rukia said, you all agree with us that there's a gender pay gap, that the expectations, as we have already said, are real. There's no myth here. Everything is real. Okay, yeah, Mr. Bayode Omoyeni.
Thank you for this wonderful topic, and the speakers. I think they've given justice to the questions. And but Ruki made mention of she made a position the other time regarding the women as trying to deliver more. In my opinion, I think that is a relative perspective, and because if we are to go by what both speakers have discussed and have established, that we have fewer women in most industries, so how do we now say they deliver more? If any one of them can just respond to that, but I preferably Ruki should be in the ideal position to say that, because she actually made that statement that they deliver more. So how do you, of course, if you evaluate 2 of 5, then there is a high possibility in the result than 2 of 10. So in case of men now being dominating the industries, I think if am I making sense for them to understand what I'm trying to say? So if they are fewer in number, then the probability in terms of survey, they might likely be higher in terms of delivering results. So, but that doesn't mean they actually deliver more than men. Please, can you just validate that?
Okay. Thank you, Baidi. I mentioned that women are not typically daunted by task. They're not scared to deliver. I think the question therein posed was, are women going to feel like the work is hard work?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, women are not going to feel that, because statistics has shown that women tend to deliver to a higher standard than men. Let me see. I think I read something earlier just before this. A research by PwC suggests that women participation in the workforce could significantly increase in the UK economy. Another research shows that at least 30% women in C-suite positions are more profitable than those with lower women representation. And what this attributes to is because women are always trying to prove themselves, like Adesua said. So if I'm expected to deliver a 10, and because I'm trying to prove myself, I am delivering a 15, there is no way that I will say, or there is no way that that standard of work is going to be less. I don't think that is going to be, I'm not going to say that as a hard work, because I know that I want to prove, that's where I was coming from. I didn't say women deliver more. I said they deliver to a higher standard than men. And that's what statistics have shown. I hope that clarifies.
Tentatively, yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all so much. I don't know if there's any other person who would like to say something so that we can already draw the curtains.
Sorry, please, can I ask another question, please?
Yeah.
To any of the speakers, do you think at some point we will have gender parity in industries?
Adesua, do you want to go first, or should I?
You can go first.
Personally, I think it's going to be very difficult. Except, of course, like I said, they're going to be like a policy revamp or something. But if we're still going to be working on these policies, and there's going to be a need to change what the societal norm is, because if the society still believes the women are supposed to take care of the home, men are supposed to work, then that is what industries are going to work on. That is what policies are going to be based on. And then that would mean women will not be able to take up higher paying jobs, will not be able to take up leadership positions. So except there is a policy and societal revamp, the way people think, the way the society think, societal expectations of what women and men should be. Yeah, if that happens, yes, it might be possible, but I think the chances are slim, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, totally agree with Ruki. I think it will take forever to get to that level. It has taken forever for us to get to where we are now. So it's going to be, yeah. So totally agree with you.
Great. Thank you. I see Lisa, your hand's up. Do you have a question or a contribution?
Just a question.
Good.
So,
please go ahead.
Okay, so I want to ask that, is it really society, or is that what is practical?
The gap or the inequality, or what?
Sorry, the gap, yeah.
Okay. Who would like to go first?
Lisa, I think you can see it from both ways. Yeah, it could be seen as practical, as saying maybe what you mean is, it's just natural for women to
be the caregiver.
For example, yeah. Is that what you mean, Lisa? Like it's natural for women to
yes,
take maternity leave, for example. Yeah, let me just use that one as an example. Yeah. I think in some cases, it's just, it's just kind of practical. There are just some things that are, let me use the word natural, yeah. So not every time we say the society, but at the same time, it's also because how did it start? Who said it must be the women? Is it because they're the ones that brought the children in? So men are actually better at taking care of kids than women. That's the truth.
But do we really want that though? Do we really want that though?
I know what you mean. Oh, that's an argument for another day.
yeah. Because I do have a friend who I would say is not so comfortable leaving the child with the man, and she got an appointment to a job, dropped it because she just wanted to be there. I mean, unconsciously, she wanted to be the sole caregiver. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like,
but if we drill down to what the root cause is, why women think, because I mean, why can't a man take care of his child? it's because of what the society has, what the societal expectations are. For instance, myself.
Sorry to cut you.
Sorry. For instance, myself, I don't know how to put babies to sleep. That is what my husband is best at doing. Like, I try to put them to sleep, no. But once my husband says, oh yeah, go to bed like this, so why can't a man take care of the child that he gave birth to? I'm the one that delivered them realistically in the hospital, but he planted the seed. So I'm sorry, but I don't think women is because if we grew up thinking, or if we grew up to a society where men can take care of a child, men are expected to take care of children, we wouldn't be thinking, oh, why shouldn't I, why like, I wouldn't be scared leaving my child with my husband, because that is what I was brought up with. And that's why I said, if there is a revamp of societal expectations, but it's because we were brought up with the notation of, oh, women, they are good at taking care. I didn't know male doctors don't they take care of patients, and they are good at it. If they can take care of patients, they can take care of their babies. So I mean, so that's my thought. So I just think, again, it all boils down to the society, the way we were brought up. That's what's making us see that as our normal.
I was also discussing that with Kunle the other day. Like, I think also the way that people choose to raise their children plays another role in how they are formed. I mean, we tend to make the girl child, oh, very patient. Oh, you accept this. Oh, you accept that. You have to be nice. You have to be very kind to everyone. But a lot of, I mean, some generations back, so to say, don't exactly look out for all those things for the male child. You have to be dominant. Oh, boys don't cry. Oh, this, and I mean, they don't show emotions and all of that. And all these things raise them to look the way most of them look like currently. Some men cannot even do house chores because they were not raised like that. So if you put your man at home to take care of the child, who cannot even do house chores? What are you driving at? So so much of a fundamental issue as well. I see another hand hop. Timele Lord Mayor. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but I hope you do understand.
You tried truly.
Thank
So
you.
I've actually been following through, and it's been an very interesting moment. And like the last speaker spoke about the adoption of the paternity leave and the rest, right? So basically, when you naturally just look at it, right, women tend to always want to take ownership of taking care of babies, mostly, right? So another thing I think Rookie spoke about was that our husband always, it's easy for the husband to tell the kids to go to bed. Yes, it's easy because the masculine voice is always heard at home. But you know, when we look at the face of the child growing up, right? And in the first phase, the father actually do not have that much experience as such. So even if in the end he has the opportunity to stay with the baby child, right? The mother who is already at a place of work will still be struggling to believe that, oh, he needs support. Oh, and then she's losing her focus on, you know, trying to concentrate on work and the rest. So majorly I feel it's just something of an understanding. Some men would rather say, okay, take the 12 months, and once I'm home, I'll be able to support or look you or check on how you're doing things. And maybe 1 or 2 hours, you could just leave me over the weekend. Probably you want to go for shopping or something of such. Um, yeah, then I think that is okay. But in the other way, majorly, you know, men are goal getters. They always want to be at work. They always want to provide for the family. Let's just put ourselves in the situation that we are all in the diaspora at the moment. You check out for your bills, you check out for other expenditures. You know that there are recurrent bills that are supposed to be paid and the rest. And you feel like, okay, getting 65% or 16% of your salary would not even help you when the 100% is not even setting that it will clear all your expenditures as per program. So these things can be a little bit tricky. So it's just depend on the individuals or the family, how they want to decide and how they want to go about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution.
And
There's a
Darren,
message in the chat.
okay, I just wanted to say thank you. Sorry, Darren, to cut you short. I just wanted to clarify a bit. Timile, sorry, Tim. I'll call you Tim. I totally agree with you that the masculine voice is being kids are always listen to their dad. But I was even talking about like from infancy. I don't know how to do the baby get babies to sleep, and that's that. Again, I like the fact that you say it depends on the individual. But then again, let's look at it holistically. If both of us decide to bring a child into the should be ready to be responsible for their child. That's where I'm coming from. And I think I've had this conversation a lot, like so many times. Just like Darren mentioned that men are not allowed to cry. I think I took an Uber and then we're having a conversation. I was like, I think it's okay for men to cry. He's like, no, that's showing weakness. And I'm like, this is the reason why there is high rate of suicide from men, because men are not supposed to show weaknesses. When they're not supposed to cry. It's okay for men to cry. So also it's okay for men to take care of their children. It's okay for a man to cook. It's okay for a man to clean the house. It's okay for a man to, and you say men are go-getters, facts. But then women too likes to, women, I think it's just because again, society has put that, sort of dim your lights because you now have a family. Because most times you'd see a woman before she gets married, thriving in her career, excelling, breaking barriers, and then once she gets married, everything just goes down the drain. Why? It is societal expectation. And that's something that needs to change. If people decide to bring children into the world, both of them should be responsible. I cannot stay with a child from morning till night, and then during the weekend, the expectation is, I should have just a few hours to still go and run errands for the house. To me, this is my own personal opinion. It doesn't make sense to me. If you decide to have kids, it should be the responsibility of both. And if we want to close gender disparity, then they should implement policies that allow men and women go on leave with equal pay. If okay, we don't want to go at the same time, maybe first 6 months women, the woman, or first 6 months the man, or however they want to do it. But then they should implement policies that allow men and women have equal rights when it comes to maternity leave, paternity leave, where people are not scared to, if I go on this maternity or paternity leave, is going to impact my bonus, is going to impact my career, is going to impact my progression. That needs to change. The way we think in the society also needs to change. But again, this is my opinion, and thank you. I will just keep quiet from now. Darren, sorry.
Thank you so much, Naya. And I would also, it just dropped in my mind also now that thinking about the maternity leave, I want to believe that it's not only for the woman to nurse the child or the newborn or whatever it is. I also want to believe that it's a time for the woman to heal, because if you expect that the man takes 6 months leave and you also take 6 months leave for fair share and all of that, he didn't carry the child for 9 months. I don't believe that he even deserves I don't believe that he even deserves the 6 months, so to say. I feel like it's also a plan to make the woman heal and be fit before she goes back to work. But the society or the workplace has now made it look like, she has just been wasting away for the past 1 year or 1.5 years, and she's not as good as the man who has been working all along. And I don't know. I feel like the orientation from their side should change with the understanding of what this maternity leaves and all these other things truly entails. I think there's Kole wants to talk, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think what I just have to say that, the speakers have actually done justice to the topic. Looking at the world, I think it's just more of, we live in a masculine world. And that's why this topic of, gender equality is actually coming up. And we hope, the government of, different countries as it applies will actually bring some policies that we, create this enabling environment. But more importantly, based on my work experience with ladies, I've had different teams where I have to work with ladies, and I noticed that ladies are not actually comfortable working with themselves. I've had different experiences where a lady had to report the other lady to me, and just trying to show the mistake of the lady. So this is not, I've experienced
women not supporting women.
Yeah, like, that idea of women not supporting women. And sometimes they feel comfortable around men. I don't know if anyone has experienced it here, but, this could also be the reason why we're having this issue. So maybe this is just the kind of awareness we're creating, like women supporting women. So this will go a long way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. I want to believe that that's all that we have today. We've gone really way past the 30-minute schedule. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Adesoa. Thank you, Ruki, for your beautiful contributions. It was really insightful. And if anyone would like to listen to this or watch this meeting all over again. It will be available on the YouTube channel, I think, next week. Yeah, Kule? Next week, yeah?
Yes. Also, I will share to the speakers
to the parties too.
before we put it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thank you all so much. We'll be drawing the curtains here for tonight, and hoping that we'll have you all join again next week for more exciting topics to discuss and deliberate on. I really wish that we had more time to hear from every other person, but yeah, hopefully some other time. Thank you all so much, and have a very beautiful evening.